Welcome to my live. Welcome to my live. I know it's been a minute. I've been busy. I took some time off, but I am back. Happy Friday. We are going to be live today and this week coming up. So we got a busy week ahead of us. But we're going to talk about this bonus story, and then I have 4 additional stories to talk about. And the screen shot photo that I put on the main screen, that's going to be our first story. So this bonus story is a troubling story, and it happened on the 8th of this month. 3 people, first of all, Philadelphia is taking an air. 3 people have been charged in the connection death of a toddler who was 2 years old in South Philadelphia. So a 21-year-old man has been charged with murder after police said he beat a 2-year-old girl to death inside a South Philadelphia home earlier this month. Sean Hernandez, aka Rafi Gorham, faces multiple charges, including murder and the death of Kimani Bean, that is spelled Key, Monnie, Bean, spelled Bean, who was found unresponsive December 8th in the basement of a house on South Beechwood Street. Authorities said the child, who loved dancing in her unicorn blanket, suffered severe injuries. She was severely beaten and suffered severe significant injuries all over her body, said Ashley Kozłowski, the assistant district attorney. There's also an indication that perhaps this was an ongoing situation that unfortunately the little girl had to endure. District Attorney Larry Krasner announced the charges Thursday during an emotional news conference, at times wiping away tears. You don't have to be a parent, Krasner said. We should be outraged at what happened to this 2-year-old. Investigators said Hernandez was the mother's boyfriend and allegedly beat the child while the mother was in the home. She is not facing charges. Quote, let me repeat that again. She is not facing charges, although she knew what type of boyfriend she was dealing with. She is not facing charges. 2 other people, 20-year-old Alicia McNeil and 21-year-old Anthony Laurie, are charged with lying to police about what happened. The girl's father, Tyshawn Walls, shared videos with Action News as he grapples with the loss of his little girl. He spoke to us through FaceTime. Quote, she was like everybody's favorite because of how she was. She was just always loving. She always wanted to hug, play around, he said. The child's mother has custody, but Walls usually visits with her weekly. We got the news last week that Kimani had been killed. Never ever got in trouble. She was really a good girl. I'm still mind blown on the incident and everything else, said Walls. We also spoke to the family on Kimani's mother's side, who did not want to go on camera but said, our hearts are heavy. We want to give a special thank you to the Philadelphia Police Department for acting as quickly as they did. Authorities are awaiting the medical examiner's final report on the exact cause of death. Hernandez was on probation for theft charges in Bucks County at the time of the incident. What could a 2-year-old do to deserve this? The answer is nothing, Kozłowski said. So we're going to go to the news video. And I want you to hear real closely. I want you to hear what these 3 people are accused of doing. In my opinion, they all are guilty in court of law.
Now at 5, 3 people have been charged in connection with the alleged beating death of a toddler in South Philadelphia. Police say the girl's body was found last week in the basement.
Tonight, Sean Hernandez faces murder charges. Alicia McNeil and Anthony Lowry both face obstruction of justice charges in the case as well.
Thursday night, the big story on Action News is the charges in a disturbing crime that claimed the life of a 2-year-old girl.
Action News has learned the most serious charge of murder was filed against the boyfriend of the girl's mother. Action News reporter John Paul, live on South Beechwood Street in South Philadelphia, with the details. John.
Police say there were 4 adults in the house at the time on December 8th when this beating happened to 2-year-old Kimani Bean. Now, they say that 3 of those adults have now been charged, including the mother's boyfriend. 2 others, they say, lied to police about what happened inside the home just a few doors down. This is the man police say beat an innocent 2-year-old girl to death. 21-year-old Sean Hernandez faces multiple charges tonight, including murder.
You like it?
2-year-old Kimani Bean, who loved dancing in her unicorn blanket, was found unresponsive on December 8th in the basement of this house on South Beechwood Street in South Philadelphia. Now investigators say she was beaten to death while 4 adults were in the home.
We should be outraged. And what happened to this 2-year-old?
District Attorney Larry Krasner held a news conference today to announce the charges, at times wiping away tears.
You don't have to be a parent.
Investigators say Hernandez was the mother's boyfriend. They say he beat the child while the mother was in the home, but she is not facing charges.
She was severely beaten and suffered severe and significant physical injuries all over her body. But there's also indication that perhaps this was an ongoing situation that unfortunately this little girl had to endure.
2 other people, 20-year-old Alicia McNeil and 21-year-old Anthony Lowry, are charged with lying to police about what happened. Investigators are waiting on the medical examiner's final report on the little girl's exact cause of death, as her family is left devastated.
What could a 2-year-old do to possibly deserve this? The answer is nothing.
Now, Rick, police also say that Hernandez had other charges. He had a law and rap sheet. They say, in fact, when this happened, he was on probation for theft charges out of Bucks County. Live tonight in South Philadelphia. John Paul, Channel 6 Action.
One pause. All right. Now, he had multiple charges out of Bucks County. Keyword, multiple charges. Why was he even around children? Knowing anybody with a rap sheet like that is violence. And this fall backs on the mother, right? Because the mother knew what type of man she was dealing with. Now, just in my opinion, all 3 of them should have got hit with murder charges. Any adult who stood by and ain't intervened, you are guilty as the murderer. You are guilty by association. You are as guilty as the person who inflicted the great bodily harm upon the child. So, in this case, they all should be getting the book thrown at them. The 2 that was charged with tampering should have also got to hit with 2nd degree, either murder or 1st degree intentional murder, because you are just as guilty in the court of law as the perpetrator in this case. This is disturbing. To stand by and watch a child be beaten the way she was beaten. You got to do better, people. And you can't be surprised. 2 21-year-olds. I mean, come on now. Philadelphia. Are we really surprised? So why the mother is not being charged if she was there and didn't intervene? Let me tell you why. And I'm gonna give you a good scenario. Because the mother is black. You got to think about it. Every time a case like this happens, and a mother stands by and watch and don't participate and watch and don't intervene, The woman don't get charged. Do you notice that in every case, a child abuse case resulting in death, a parent, like a mother, is never charged. Or they stand by and don't intervene. The majority of the cases, you gotta start holding these women accountable. You have to start holding these mothers accountable because if you do not hold these mothers accountable, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna continue doing it and doing it and doing it. And in my eyes, every one of them is guilty. Every one of them are guilty because you knew what was going on. You knew what was going to take place. You knew he was violent. So you just as guilty as he is in a court of law. We're gonna move on to our first story. Please keep this Tyler and her family in prayers as they deal with this tragic loss that they're dealing with. So we want to talk about case out of Detroit where a 3-year-old little girl was abused and later died in the care of a woman's best friend. I was watching yesterday the interview of the suspect on YouTube, but this is mom's friend who she trusted, and this is the victim. This is the victim that you see on the main screen. Let's talk about it. Two Detroit parents lost their 3-year daughter to child abuse after they trusted a family friend, to babysit, which she had done often. So this is she was the child multiple times. On Thursday, 30-year-old Alicia Harris was charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse in connection to Harmony Henderson's death. I would never in 1 million years think she would do this to my baby, said Paris, England. The victim's mother. Even if you think you trust a person, you can't. Harmony had autism and was nonverbal. This week, her dad, Marquise Anderson, had to read his daughter's autopsy report. Blunt force trauma. Marquise said blunt force trauma, a 3-year-old autistic baby. England left Harmony with Harris on Sunday at her home on Detroit's west side. Harris reportedly locked Harmony and her own 1-year-old in a bedroom so she could smoke weed with a friend for 3 hours. Harmony parents said, I'm going to reread that again. She locked this 3-year-old and 1-year-old in a bedroom so she could smoke illegal drugs while there's children in the home. and this is the person you trusted with your child. The suspect then allegedly got enraged after Harmony threw up on herself, so she doused the child with scalding water on her face and head. He was also accused of then smashing the child's head into the side of the bathtub. Detroit police said Harris confessed to the crime. When the England video called afterward to check in, Harmony was still alive. She said Harris told the mother that Harmony fell down the stairs and bumped her head. From my knowledge, it was just a fall down the stairs that she just missed her step. That's all it was. She told me everything was okay. England said, I seen her through the video chat. She was okay. But when she got there the next morning, Harmony was in bed, motionless. She was already dead from the moment that I got there. The mother said she was gone. The parents were told that Harmony died sometime overnight. 911 was never called. Harris was remanded in custody on Thursday, the same day as Harmony's viewing. I done cried so much, I don't even know if there's no more tears left in there, Marquis said. And I believe she was just sentenced recently to 21 to 50 years in prison. Let me pull up the news video. Let's get straight into it. Her name is Aisha Harris 30. Okay, so she was sentenced 6 months ago.
And on the edge, a Southfield babysitter who killed an autistic toddler by smashing her head into a bathtub was sentenced down to a brutal crime.
Tears ran down the faces of Oroville's grieving family as they faced her killer in court. Fox News' Jessica Dudek has more on their message to the murderer.
This is one of those stories that sticks with you. The most innocent of victims killed by a woman that the family trusted for decades, who's now pled guilty to the crimes.
She was already dead from the moment I got there.
Last spring, this family had just read the autopsy report for 3-year-old Harmony Henderson. She has autism and cannot speak.
Blunt force trauma. A 3-year-old autistic baby.
They trusted Harmony with babysitter Aisha Harris, a longtime family friend who's now convicted for pouring scalding hot water on the child's face and head and smashing her head repeatedly in a bathtub. She was upset the toddler threw up on herself.
She was only 3. She barely said a couple words. She didn't bother nobody.
In court Thursday, a mother weeps as a child killer is sentenced. A wall of nearly 30 Wayne County Sheriff's deputies stood by. The last hearing, a brawl erupted between the families and deputies were hurt.
I just thought that she suffered. I can't get that out of my mind. She suffered.
There was a twist before the sentence is handed down. Harris decides she doesn't want to come to court because our cameras were rolling. She said it was for her safety, something Judge Kelly Ramsey said was disingenuous because her mugshot is already everywhere.
This has been a press case before, so
Henderson only coming in if we blur her face. Fox 2 agreeing only to protect the family from a delay in the hearing.
I hate you so much. You made me old, bro.
The judge holding up a so-called apology letter from Harris.
with the 6 letters here, I sorry. Here. Here.
Then handing down a 28 to 50-year prison sentence. At the earliest, she'd be out before her 60th birthday.
I believe that you're going to suffer in jail. Oh, you're not going to make it. They're going to get you. They will. You're going to pay for what you did to her. You will.
We also know that Harmony was alive for at least several hours after the abuse, but her babysitter never called 911 and told her mom that she'd fallen down the stairs. Jessica Dupnack on the Edge.
Once again, Stupid is just stupid, stupid. You have to be stupid enough, right, to leave your child a person that you knew uh, obviously touching their own child, their own 1-year-old child, by locking them in a bedroom. Come on now. How do you miss red flags? Seriously, how do you miss red flags in this type of situation? She knew what type of mother she was. She knew she was an abusive mother. I would have never left my child with this person because she acted in court when she's sentenced. She don't want to be seen on camera. The mugshot already out there. First of all, you don't want to be seen because you already know what's going to happen. But that's the thing. I think I got the sentencing right. I thought it was 2150. So I think she got 50 years total. But to me, she should have got every bit of a life term in prison. Because this was aggravated abuse at its finest. And black men get more prison time than a black woman. Let's put it out there. In the same case like this. On a plea deal, he probably would have got. If this was if the suspect was a black man, no tie to the family, I think he would have got life with parole. Maybe after 50, 60 years, he would have got a total of 50. He got decades in prison. And I thought she got decades in prison. I think we had to set a prime example. Knowing what's going on in Detroit with children going missing, ended up killed, and people abusing their children in Detroit, and assassinating their children in Detroit, and all this other stuff in Detroit. I won't trust anybody in Detroit to watch my child, especially what's going on now in 2025. No, it's dangerous. You have to know who your friends truly are. And again, unfortunately, the mother is suffering, family suffering. But we have to learn that at a significant rate, that child abuse cases are on high. It's on high. It's on the rise, and we got to do better um, as human beings. We got to know who we leave our children with. We got to do background checks. I previously said it on videos multiple times. It only costs $10, so there's no excuse why you couldn't do a background check on this woman, Aisha Harris. There's no excuse. Being lazy is no excuse. Because you could have easily did a background check on her and knew what type of person she was. You already knew she abused her 1-year-old child. So why would you leave your 3-year-old child in her custody? See what I'm saying? Even if you want to give somebody a chance to redeem herself, I want to give her a chance. Because it seems like this isn't the first time she locked her children or her child in a bedroom while she downstairs smoking weed. Well, it's not the type of person you want to leave your children around. So the child suffered because, just my opinion, her parents need to do a really good of a background check. Let's be honest. If we're gonna be real, we're gonna be real. Her parents ain't do a good enough background check, and thus they could trust this person. And I'm speaking about the mother, by the way, because this was mom, friend, family friend. I don't understand, but okay. Sad situation, and this child suffered at the hands of a person who should have did a well enough background check. Now we're going to move on to our next story, story 2 out of 4, and we're going to Stockton, California. Comment down below what you thought about the first story, my commentary, and the bonus story commentary. Comment all that down below. Let's go to our second story. We're going to Stockton, California. I want to talk about this mass shooting at this birthday party. I don't think I talked about it on the channel. And if I did, I might have did a short about it, but we're gonna do a full blown. Um, we're gonna go to Wikipedia. We're gonna talk about the shooting. because there have been since then there has been a lot of mass shootings this year, and we're going to talk about those in our upcoming videos. So stay tuned. Um, on Monday, we're going to talk about those on Monday. But tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to try to go live on my Crime Time channel. So stay tuned for that. I've been on that channel either in a while, so we're gonna go on that, and then my sports channel, my Bills sports channel. I'm gonna go back on that and do some reactions tomorrow on that channel too. So we got a lot of reactions to do and videos to post tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Let's continue on story 2 out of 4. On November 29th, 2025, a mass shooting during a family event at the Monkey Space Event Hall killed 4 people, 3 of whom were children, and injured 13 others near Stockton, California, United States. The attack, which may involve multiple shooters, occurred during a child's birthday party and appears to have been a targeted attack. No arrest of suspects have been made as of today. Now, the background of it is the city of Stockton endured 3,680 violent crimes since 2024, which is almost double to the statewide violent crime rate. The area of San Joaquin Valley, where the city is located and the location of the shooting, also had the highest violent crime rate in the state in 2023. The party was advertised on social media and was planned to run from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Between 80 to 100 people gathered at Monkey Space, an event venue at 1955 Lucille Avenue in unincorporated San Joaquin County, just outside of Stockton city limits, for a 2-year-old girl's birthday party. The venue had reportedly been booked in person by the girl's mother rather than on Peerspace where it's listed. Let's talk about the shooting. Shortly before 6 p.m. Pacific time, law enforcement was called to the venue in response to a shooting. The shooting probably began just before the birthday cake was to be cut. It began inside the venue where 4 of the victims were killed. Authorities believe the gunfire continued outside the venue and that there were multiple shooters. A father of one of the slain victims reported that his son had been killed. Had been walking over to speak to the rapper MB Neal when a masked gunman fired toward the rapper and struck his son once in the chest. Multiple survivors of the attack noted that the only slain adult was killed after hiding his girlfriend and several children inside a closet during the shooting. He was reportedly shot in the neck. Bullets shot during the attack also struck a nearby home and reportedly narrowly missed a man and a dog who were inside the man who were inside as the man worked on his garage door. The man hid with his girlfriend in a backyard shed. Let's talk about the victims. 4 people were killed and 13 others were injured, including at least one critically. The victims were identified as 21-year-old Susano Archuleta, 14-year-old Amari Pedersen, and 2 8-year-olds, third graders, Maya Lupian and Journey Rose Rio Torre Guerrero. A community activist, Jasmine Della Flores, who has a mural in honor in the city of Stockton, was also injured in the attack. Della Flores had previously interned for former Stockton Mayor Michael Tubbs and had been inspired to begin community work after one of her best friends was murdered. Della Flores was noted for her work organizing neighboring cleanups by high school-aged children, hosting parties and trunk or treating events, and improving playground equipment. The rapper MB Neal, who may have been targeted in the attack, was also shot and went into hiding after the shooting. Let's talk about the investigation. The investigation is being led by the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office as it occurred with their jurisdiction, with assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, Stockton Police Department, San Juan County District Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Investigators believe that the shooting was a targeted attack, and there may have been multiple shooters, but stopped short of saying that the attack was gang-related, although San Juan County Sheriff Patrick Woodrow did not rule it out. However, in parole documents, one of the arrested men investigators alleged that the multiple gang factions were present at the party. Stockton City leaders called the attack gang-related, Withrow said the interviews with witnesses and survivors of the attack did not yield much information about the description of the assailants, but said that he understood that people's main priority was to stay alive. Withrow said he didn't want to say whether or not witnesses were withholding information, but said he had been hoping for more information on this right now. Investigators also located firearms on the roof of the venue, but had not determined if the firearms were used in the attack. An update by the sheriffs on December 9th, he said over 50 shell casings were found at the scene, and they determined that at least 5 firearms were used, and that they were working to determine if anyone at the party returned with fire. Whistle also noted that Richardson said that the shooters were face coverings and dark clothing, but there was no information about possible getaway vehicles. After the shooting, the FBI offered $50,000 for information that resulted in arrests or convictions. The ATF later offered an additional $25,000 in reward money. 2 men who were present at the shooting, including the father of the child whose birthday was being celebrated, were arrested for suspicion of violating parole, but had not suspected to have been involved in the crime. The arrest father was later charged with assault with a firearm, possession of an assault rifle, possession of a high-capacity magazine, being a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition, criminal street gang activity, domestic violence with corporal injury, ammunition violation, and numerous firearms and enhancement allegations that finally come up revocation. The man had also previously admitted to being affiliated with the Serranos gang, but was classified with the Stockton police as being an active member of the Asian Boys and Mighty Boys gangs. The man was outfitted with a GPS ankle monitor as part of the parole and has indicated that he spent more than 5 hours at the event venue in additional time across the streets. The local district attorney office alleged that he had hosted the birthday party and knew that the gang members would be in attendance at the party. The second man was identified as being an uncle of the child whose birthday was being celebrated, was also a non-rapper. The man was charged with violating a parole condition which prohibited him from being within 300 feet of places where children gather for convictions of child abuse, child endangerment, and corporal injury from 2021. At the time of his arrest, he was also wanted for failing to make a court appearance for charges for traffic violations. The man was also accused of violating part of his parole conditions, which prohibited him from being in contact with a known gang member in the case. He contacted with the child's father. The man pleaded no contest to the parole violation and was sentenced to 180 days in jail with his defense attorney, saying that he was in no way involved in the shooting, nor did he have a relationship with the shooters, but that he just wants to be put this stuff behind him. The name Monkey Space was not formally established and not appeared on state or county business license lists. The owner of the property that was being leased claimed that he had leased the property to Virtual Campus Compass LLC, an umbrella company which ran several businesses at the location for office space and video creative purposes. And the company running a banquet hall at the property was illegal. On November 5th, 2025, the county had received a complaint that a business at the location was operating without the necessary permits and that said that the complaint was still under investigation. A spokesperson for the county claimed that he had never received a request to operate any businesses at the location, but the owner of the Virtual Compass LLC disputed that Vertical Compass LLC said that it had mistakenly sent a business application to the city of Stockton, but after realizing the mistake had applied as non-profit to the county and got confirmation in October that the application was received. The reaction of the aftermath is the mother of the child spoke out of who the birthday party was. And let's go to the news video.
To our continuing coverage of the deadly Stockton mass shooting. It's been almost 3 weeks since that tragedy.
Yeah, the shooting left 4 people dead and 13 injured. They've been identified as 8-year-old MIALAH Leak, 8-year-old Journey Rose Guerrero, 14-year-old Amari Peterson, and 21-year-old Susano Archuleta. Tonight, in an ABC 10 exclusive, we're hearing from the grieving mother of the 21-year-old.
Julia Arista says she's making preparations to bury her son, Susano, as she waits for justice and for someone to be arrested.
ABC 10's Roxanne Elias is live in downtown Stockton. And Roxanne, I know it's just a heartbreaking time for that family.
It is, Chris. Today in tears, Julia Arista shared with us that she's trying to be strong and stay strong for her 4 other children that she has. And although she's in despair, today she was able to have a little bit of peace after getting to see her sons since the first time since that shooting.
I got to go see my baby, and I got to hold his hand, and I got to brush his hair, give him a little kiss, and let him know that.
For the first time since the shooting in Stockton,
I don't know that I was there.
The mother of 21-year-old Susano Archuleta IV was able to visit her son at the funeral home Wednesday morning. Julia Arista says on the day of the shooting, her son was supposed to briefly stop by the birthday party on Lucille Avenue and then go visit her. But instead, she got the call telling her she needed to go to the hospital and that there was a shooting.
They said that he was getting kids out into safe, trying to cut them in his little area, and I guess he drove his girlfriend there too. And then I don't know, I guess he was shot in the midst of that.
The mother of 5 says her youngest son was shot in the neck and died at the hospital. His girlfriend, who he was with at the time, was also shot about 7 times. She's at home recovering, but left heartbroken. Arista wants her son to be remembered for being loving, funny, and a hero.
The problem that I'm having is the people stereotyping him, labeling him, leaving him out. That's what bothers me. I know he was a young adult. He was only 21. He didn't get to live life yet. I know he was, and the babies, I feel so bad for the babies, But, his life mattered too.
Arista is now maneuvering through the process of coping with the help from the Peacekeepers, a violence prevention program with the city of Stockton.
The Peacekeepers just here grieving with the families. I mean, they don't know behind the scenes what we do, but our Peacekeepers are crying with the mothers, this is very emotional.
The grieving mother says she is making plans with her son's father to bury her son in the next few days. But she's left wondering what he could have become.
He'll never get married. He'll never have babies.
Some sad words there. Now, Arista also says she wants the mother who held the birthday party to know that she's not upset with her. She doesn't blame her for what happened. She says that the families that lost their loved ones should right now be supporting one another through all of this and as they cope through their loss. I'm live in Stockton. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Our hearts are with them too, Roxanne. Thank you for that update.
And remember, if you have any information, please call that number on your screen, 209-946-0600. You can remain anonymous. The reward for information needed to arrest is now at $130,000.
Holy hell, here's
There's a
the
moment behind the wheel of what I built. We're powered. Overrides gravity. Then I hit that 0 mark. 0 doubts, 0 fear, 0 competition. No rule of what I can't break. And limits? Absolutely 0. And there's a non-zero sugar to get me there. Hi, it's Charlie at Snacks. For this low.
Now, and thank you to those that will later watch our broadcast. We've invited you today as members of the San Joaquin County Youth Justice Coalition. Our coalition is made up of several community-based organizations, faith leaders, and youth advocates that are rooted in Stockton and in the San Joaquin County. We stand together to say that all youth are sacred no matter where they come from, regardless of race, trauma, or background, and that every person deserves safety, they deserve dignity, every person deserves respect. Our coalition is made and committed to our work, made up of several organizations, and we're committed to our work with marginalized and systems impacted young people and their families to support their transformation from merely surviving to thriving. We are committed and we are coming together to center all of the victims of this tragedy during a time of great need for those who were shot and for those who were present on that day. We're going to start our session in prayer. I'll pray in my faith tradition. I invite you to bow your heads if you desire. God of mercy, God of justice, we come before you today because you alone hold all of the answers and the solutions to what we need as a community. Your word reminds us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit in Psalms 34:18. And today we ask you to draw near to every family shattered by this violence, to every life wounded by gunfire, and to every soul carrying the trauma of what they've witnessed. We lift up the victims of this tragedy, those recovering in hospitals, those facing long roads of healing, and those whose lives who have been forever changed. Cover them with your peace that surpasses all understanding. Strengthen doctors, nurses, first responders, and caregivers who are working tirelessly to restore bodies and spirit. God, your word tells us in Micah 6:8 that you require us to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you. So today we stand united as a coalition, saying that violence caused by disinvestment will not have the final word. Fear will not define our neighborhoods, and despair will not silence our hope. We pray especially for our young people, those navigating trauma, loss, and systems that too often fail them. Your word declares that all are fearfully wonderfully made in Psalms 139:14. So remind us that every young life is sacred, God. Protect them, God. They're worthy of protection, investment, and opportunity. God, give us wisdom. Give us wisdom. Give us wisdom. Wisdom to our community leaders, courage to advocates, compassion to policymakers, and endurance to those doing daily unseen work of healing for our city. Help us not only to mourn together, but God, help us to move together towards solutions that are rooted in care, accountability, and in love. Jesus taught, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be the children of God, called the children of God. Make us peacemakers in Stockton, make us builders of safety, make us instrument of your justice and healing. We place this city, we place these families, and this moment into your hands, trusting that even in uncertainty, you are still present, you're still moving, you're still calling us forward because you're still God. And we pray this in faith and in hope, and I pray and ask it all in the matchless name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Next, we're going to have members of our coalition to each introduce themselves and to share a few words. And at the end, there will be a time allotted for your questions and answers, and we'll take them at that time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Henry D. Phillips, and I serve as chairperson of the board of directors of the Amelia Ann Adams Whole Life Center. Today, we stand with heavy hearts as we hold space for the victims of the devastating mass shooting, their families, and every young person and community member impacted. Our prayers and sympathies are with those who are grieving, recovering, and trying to make sense of this tragedy. This moment calls for compassion, truth, and unity. At the Whole Life Center, our mission has always been rooted in healing and transformation. For nearly a decade, we have worked to help families move from surviving to thriving. Our belief is simple but firm. All youth are sacred. Our community is sacred. And every person, regardless of race, trauma, or background, deserves safety, dignity, and support. When this tragedy occurred, our leadership, our staff, and the San Joaquin County Youth Justice Coalition immediately mobilized to care for those most affected. We've been walking alongside families from the moment the crisis unfolded, providing emergency counseling, food, and emotional support. We are helping families navigate overwhelming systems, creating safe spaces for youth. This is including transition age youth, and coordinating with partners to ensure no one carries this burden alone. Our commitment has been and will continue to be to show up with compassion and consistency. We know that in the midst of trauma, false narratives can cause harm and deepen wounds. And today, we ask our community to hold tightly to the truth. Our young people deserve care, not condemnation. They deserve understanding, not blame, and healing, not harm. The Whole Life Center, we define youth as individuals that are age up to 25, as adolescent brain development continues into the mid-20s. This is a moment to protect the young people in our community, not judge them. The Whole Life Center has long served youth and families who face the greatest barriers. We build relationships that are rooted in trust, relationships that often become the foundation for young people to reach their goals. Not only that, but to return and serve others. In moments of crisis, whether natural disasters or community violence, we respond quickly by centering dignity, cultural responsiveness, and long-term support. What took place in our community is heartbreaking, but it does not define the worth of our youth. They deserve every chance to recover.
Let me stop there because this is real long. Go watch it on the main panel. Now we're going to take a look at the mother of the 2-year-old who probably it was, and look at her neck region.
Is that I'm sorry
Red Murphy.
to all the mothers and children out there. If I can do anything to prevent this, I threw a birthday party for my little daughter. She actually turned 2, and
So it says on her neck, I can't tell it except with something Biffy, Biffy, spoke Biffy or something Biffy, but I can't tell, but it's on her neck and it's in red. And this is the mother. Knowing if I went to a party or if I brought my child to a party and I looked at her neck, it'll give me red flags because that meaning her neck what tells me that she's a part of or could be a part of a gang because this was gang violence.
I just wanted all my family to
Take a
come
little look
together
at
and
this.
be together as it be like an incident happened. As me getting ready to start my baby, to start cutting her cake and stuff, everybody's getting together around and just start cutting cake, and all we heard was gunshots, and everybody just goes to the ground. It was just unexpected. I don't know what happened. I'm just so shocked and lost, and I'm lost the words. I'm speechless, and I just want to say I'm sorry to all the mothers out there that lost their kids at my birthday party.
I gotta pause because I want to point something out. I want to apologize to all the parents out there whose children were shot or killed at my birthday party. Now you would have said at my child's birthday party, but you said my birthday party, which indicated that you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to aspire. And we have to be careful when we go out to birthday parties, concerts, clubs, all of that, because it's now becoming dangerous. People don't care. They would shoot. The next question later. But this is troubling on so many levels. This is the father of the young boy, 14-year-old. He's speaking out. Him and his wife, family speaking out about this. His daughter was grazed in the shooting.
So hearing from the families of those impacted, ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has been on scene every day since the night of that tragedy, and he spoke to the family of the 14-year-old victim from Modesto.
Gabriel, tell us, what have they shared with you today?
Yeah, Chris and Laura, I sat down with the family of 14-year-old Amari Peterson. The word devastating doesn't even begin to cover it. That family gathered inside of this building on Saturday to celebrate the birthday of a 2-year-old. They would have never imagined that just 48 hours later, it would turn into a memorial for their own child. I want to warn you that the details the father shares about the final moments of his young son's life are simply gut-wrenching. Any father remembers the day their child is born.
He was just like the perfect gift from God.
But this father, Patrick Peterson, is now burdened to live with the day his son died.
All I can see is my son crawling on the ground and me trying to resuscitate him.
At just 14, Amari Peterson took his last breath.
He had one bullet hole right above his heart.
Amari and his family, a few of the dozens on Saturday who were just trying to celebrate the birthday of a 2-year-old.
I just heard gunshots, and then the shooter came in, and he came in. I turned my back and I looked at him, and then I just started seeing him shoot.
Patrick's daughter was grazed, and in the panic before he could even react,
everybody running off, and then my son is just sitting there, just crawling, trying to get up. So I got my baby. I had to hop back over the counter, and I'm trying to see what's going on with him. I'm trying to give him CPR. The bullet, and he just got blood coming out his face, and it's just something that a father should never have to go through.
What no one should ever endure is now on a painful replay.
Every time I get ready to lay down, I'm like laying over my son while he's sitting there breathing, trying to breathe. Every day he would tell me, "Dad, I love you. Dad, I appreciate you." Every night, every morning. Every night, every morning, that boy would tell me he loved me.
A loving boy, a gentle soul, a life taken, and a community shaken.
He was loved by like so many people. He loved sports, he loved football, he loved basketball. You know, he ran a little bit of track, but overall, he was just a gentle soul. And I just can't see why God would let something like this happen.
And that is the question that so many people are asking tonight. Why did this happen? Right now, we don't know the answer. Investigators say they're working on it. So far, for now, this memorial grows with candles and flowers, and so many families now mourning. Amari's family tells me they've received so many calls and texts in the past 48 hours of people showing support. They are raising money online to plan for a funeral, something they would have never planned for, never prepared for, never would have expected. Live in Stockton, Gabriel Forrest, ABC 10.
Filing cabinet and the ripped up.
Closing thoughts on this particular story. First of all, this is my theory. I'm gonna tell you why this was a setup, or this could be a setup, or why I believe this was a setup. Because I do believe it was a setup. If I'm inviting active members of society, and I ain't talking about active members who doing good things for the community, I'm talking people who is in the streets. If I'm inviting not so good people to go to a birthday party, what do I expect to happen? Flowers and candy? No, you expect to see tragedy. Because when you invite dangerous people, especially around children, things like this will happen. So again, this falls back on the mother of the 2-year-old because you threw this party and you knew what was going to take place. I believe you knew what was going to happen. And for you to all of a sudden get on the news, say your full remarks, talking about I want to apologize to the family. Or I put out my quote birthday party, which this birthday party was for a 2-year-old. So how are you saying my birthday party? It's just it's crazy. But this is why you don't go anywhere when you're in any part of California, because California is dangerous. You all notice they've been on the news dozens of times, and when you show up to these type of events, you don't know what's going to happen. But I do want to shout out the 21-year-old who lost his life helping protecting children. Although they say he was, I don't know if he was on the streets or he was something like that, he still helped prevent more casualties by helping children be put in a safe position. And that was hiding children in closets, helping them, shielding them away from gunshots. And I was making a couple comments, and it was basically knocking the 21-year-old, saying basically he was in a gang himself. That's at this moment is irrelevant. We're talking about his heroism, him saving more lives that day. So that should be more put out there and more speaking about. But this was a travesty. This was devastating, disgusting to shoot up a birthday party of a 2-year-old. And we live in a society where people don't care anymore. And you have a person on YouTube who basically agrees with the shooting of this party. And to me, it's disgusting because that could have been your own family members. That could have been somebody you love that was killed or injured. And we have to do better when it comes to society. And we gotta do better as the human race. We have to do better because the comment was disgusting. Let's move on to our third story out of four. Let's talk about Nola Dinkins. Mother is accused of killing her toddler, hiding the body, extradited from Delaware, and held without bond in Maryland. So Darian Randall was extradited from Delaware to Maryland in order to be held without bond after being accused of killing her toddler in June. The Cecil County State Attorney's Office said Friday, according to charging documents, Randall called in the fake kidnapping in Delaware, prompting an investigation that ultimately led to discovery of 3-year-old Nola Dinkins' body. On Friday, the state attorney's office said 31-year-old Randall was transported back to Maryland to face charges as a result of an agreement between the governors of Delaware and Maryland. Under the agreement, Randall will face charges in Maryland before she faces felony charges in Delaware for filing a false police report. In Maryland, Randall is facing 11 charges, including murder and child abuse resulting in death. According to the state attorney's office, Randall appeared in court virtually on Thursday. She confessed to the murder. So Randall's boyfriend, Cedric Britton, was also charged after Dinkins' body was found in a Cecil County park on June 11th. Following Randall's fake kidnapping report, Maryland State Police responded to Dinkins' last known place of residence as is standard practice. When they arrived at a home in Cecil County, troopers found Britton, who said the child had left with her mother. According to court documents, Randall later confessed that the kidnapping was not true and told police that Dinkins became unresponsive on June 6 after she hit her head several times with a belt. When she saw the child was no longer breathing, charging documents alleged Randall called for Britton, who attempted CPR. Randall eventually put Dinkins' body in a suitcase and asked Britton to take it somewhere. According to court documents, Britton provided a map of where he left the child's body. Police found Dinkins' remains covered in plastic wrap. Court documents detailed a search of the couple's home revealed a child-sized blanket with a reddish-brown smear consistent with blood, according to court documents. Britton is being held on no bond at the Cecil County Detention Center, according to the state attorney's office. Let's go to the news video.
Disturbing new details tonight in connection with a 3-year-old girl's reported disappearance in Newcastle County, Delaware. Her mother is now charged in connection with her death. This is the news at 6. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Jason Martinez. Investigators say the mother of Nola Dinkins not only lied about the little girl's abduction, but according to court documents, she allegedly told investigators that she beat her daughter to death. Her boyfriend also facing criminal charges. Our Kelly Rule's been following this developing story. She has more about this unthinkable crime from Newcastle, Delaware.
31-year-old Darian Randall remains behind bars here in Newcastle County, Delaware on $1 million cash bail, awaiting extradition back to Maryland, where police charged her with the murder of her 3-year-old daughter. Cecil County officials say her boyfriend, charged with crimes related to the girl's death, was released today on $75,000 cash bond and home detention, despite the request to be held without bond. I want to warn you, some details of this case are disturbing.
How could you do that to your child? It's just, I could never.
Chloe Elborn says her community is haunted by what investigators say happened in this home on Elk Nest Drive, one of the first homes built in a newer cul-de-sac in Northeast Maryland. Court documents reveal 31-year-old Darian Randall admitted to beating her 3-year-old daughter Nola Dinkins to death with a belt at the home, owned by her boyfriend, 44-year-old Cedric Britton. after admitting her story she originally told Newcastle County Police Tuesday night about her daughter being abducted on the side of the road in Delaware, more than 20 miles away from their home, was not true.
It's just insane how close it was. And I've just been shaken up from it and sick.
Documents say after the alleged beating Monday, Britton tried to give Nola CPR, but she did not survive. Documents say Randall told police she put her daughter in a suitcase, which they took to the car, drove around with, and returned home. And eventually she asked Britton to relocate the suitcase. Documents say during an interview with police, Britton showed police a map of where he said Randall took Nola. And using that map, documents say police located the suitcase with remains inside on Dune Drive, a private road behind Britton's home. Neighbors say they never saw Nola or her mom and rarely saw Britton. Yesterday, they saw a truck remove cars from the home.
Well, it quickly escalated to something else because then a forensic unit showed up and more police showed up. Quite shocking. I mean, a 3-year-old? That's just absolutely terrible. And just don't believe things like that happen, and let alone in your backyard, so to speak.
Court documents obtained by Fox 29 from Marion County, Indiana, show a custody battle between Randall and Nola's father dating back to June of 2023. Records filed in March of this year show that Randall pulled her motion to move to Maryland, and that Randall and Nola's father agreed to specific parenting arrangements in Indiana. Back in Maryland, neighbors tell Fox 29 Britton was at a homeowners association meeting Tuesday night when he got the first call from police.
He acted fine. He acted like a normal person would. But obviously had some stuff going on.
Maryland State Police say the chief medical examiner's office will identify the remains recovered and determine the cause and manner of death. Reporting in Newcastle, I'm Kelly Wool, Fox 29 News.
All right, I'm going to do closing thoughts on this particular story. First of all, when you have when you're a female with a man's name, that's a red flag. 2, when you live off the street, gender avenue, another red flag. Then you chose to put your child in great danger. You put your child in danger. Mom's boyfriend. You know, I don't understand the sole purpose of. I don't understand who murders their own children. What would be the sole purpose? It's disturbing. It is disturbing that people don't even have hearts anymore and only have children just so they get the stability from their children. What did this deal did so wrong that you chose to go down the route of murder? I just don't understand it. And then to help with the moving of the body across time, it's disturbing. But that's why it's very important for fathers to be in their children's lives. It's important for fathers to get custody of their children, especially if you know the woman you are dealing with or the ex-girlfriend of the person you're dealing with. It's crazy. As men, we have to do our part, do our job. This was so preventable, but this trial was failed by so many people, the community, because to me, I felt this child was being abused multiple times, days of the week. And I'm pretty sure that if you live in a cul-de-sac, you would have heard screaming, you would have heard crying, you would have heard something. Trust me, if the house is 2 houses down in a big open space, you'd have had to heard something. But when we don't intervene to child abuse cases, bad things like this happen. And children often suffer from the abuse of their parents, step parents, mom's boyfriend, dad's girlfriend, mom's girlfriend, dad's boyfriend. I mean, it happens all the time in different rotations. But we have to do better. If you're going to bring children in the world, we should be responsible to take care of children while they're in the world. To help both these individuals get maximum prison time, and for the mom's boyfriend. Randall's boyfriend, Cedric Britton. You know, this is just despicable. But we gotta do better. We gotta do better. Let's talk about our last story of the night. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night, and I will see you guys tomorrow on Crime Time. I'm definitely drop on that channel tomorrow. This happened in Michigan. Out of all places, Michigan, back in Detroit. This happened out of Fruitport Township, Michigan. Police are investigating the suspicious death of 11-year-old Malaya, I can tell you spell it, Mialah, Malia Leak, after officers found her unresponsive Sunday evening at a mobile home park. Police were called around 5:45 p.m. Sunday to Clover Estates Mobile Home Park on report of an unresponsive child, according to the Freeport Township Police Department. Emergency responders were unable to revive the girl, who was a fifth grade student at Stetler Elementary School on the Freeport Community Schools District. The child's mother, 55-year-old Sherry Lee, was taken into custody at the scene and is being held at the Muskegon County Jail for manslaughter, a felony charge according to the Muskegon County Prosecutor's Office. Now, I want you to think about the charge and think about if this is an appropriate charge on this crime. Prosecutor says she admitted during an arraignment to sitting on the child for an extended period of time to stop her from acting out. So do you think this is a manslaughter or if this is a first or second degree offense of murder? Because in my opinion, I'm gonna tell you what this is. This was called, in my opinion, this should be called intentional homicide. Okay? When you intentionally sit on someone, and your intentions may not be to kill them, but you intended to do great bodily harm to get what you want. So you killed the child trying to quote unquote punish. That don't sound right. Now, Leak began CPR and called 911. Matt Roberts, chief trial attorney for the Muskegon County Prosecutor's Office, said, but prosecutors moved forward with charges based on the circumstances described in the case. Roberts said the medical examiner report is still pending, but investigators suspect the cause of death to be ruled suffocation based on the mother's statements in court. According to court records, Leak is being held on a $100,000 bond. She will appear in court again December 9th at 1:30 p.m. for a public cause conference, and again on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. for a preliminary examination, which he appeared in court recently. Roberts said additional charges may be filed at his office works, with Child Protective Services and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to determine whether there were prior investigations involving the family. It probably was, and it was missed. Roberts added that the case is especially devastating because Milo's twin sister, who is nonverbal and has significant medical needs, has also been removed from the home. She is now in foster care and being treated at a hospital. The sisters have been living with Leak since 2018 after their biological mother parental rights were terminated. Roberts said early signs of medical neglect involving the other twins were among the concerns authorities are now reviewing. In a letter sent to families Monday, Superintendent Jason Kennedy described Malia as known for her warm smile, kindness to her classmates and friends, and the positive energy that she brought to school every day. The district said emotional support staff and MAISD critical incident stress management team are available to help students and faculty process this loss. Kennedy extended condolences to Milo's family, friends, school, community, asking families to keep them in their thoughts during what he called an incredibly difficult time. The Fruitport Township Police Department said the investigation remains active. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Sergeant Brian Rapestra or Deputy Chief Greg Pelosin at 231-865-8477. That's 231-865-8477. Do that. If you have any information about this crazy woman, and you know any things she has done, report it. Here's a news video.
Well, I think the judge was right. It should be higher. I don't think that children should have to suffer. Not like that. And that woman needs to be behind bars. She does not need to be a public because I work with CPS cases. If she was overwhelmed with you can't get, she had help. And she did reach out for help. I'm Florida. It's very sad. I will not let her heartbroken, disappointed because there were reports. CPS had been called about she being abusive. Now my other niece, she's cognitively impaired. She can't talk. She can't say anything. And I was not here to say why Sherry attacked her like that. But that size woman on a child, till she loses consciousness and dies. It's unacceptable. Beautiful little princess. Beautiful spirit. You know, Fruitport sent out the letter to homes. Love. I mean, she was just the ideal child. I don't know what Sherry was going to make her react like that on the child. Because Mila's character was sweet. I have a letter that was good and it's always helpful, always sweet.
Here in Muskegon, new developments into the investigation of 11-year-old MIALAH Leak's death. Her adoptive mother, Sherry Leak, arraigned Tuesday, charged with manslaughter. Prosecutors say on MIALAH's birthday, Sherry sat on her until she lost consciousness. Her biological family speaking after the hearing, saying the system failed them.
I really, really trusted this lady. I never in 100 years
thought this would happen.
She was just the ideal child. I don't know what Sherry was going to make her react like that on that child, because Mila's character was sweet.
Sherry Leak adopted daughter Mila along with her twin sister in 2018, according to the prosecutor's office.
Now, my other niece, she's cognitively impaired. She can't talk. She can't say anything. And Mila's not here to say why Sherry attacked her like that.
Mila's biological aunt, Josephine Smith, says Sherry never reached out for help tending to the twins.
I will not let anger dwell here. Heartbroken, disappointed, because there were reports. CPS had been called about she being abusive.
Mila's biological grandfather, David Jones, echoing that.
I do believe that my baby was trying to reach out to us and that she's been silenced, because I believe there's more to it than just this one isolated incident.
In court Tuesday, Sherry charged with manslaughter,
having allegedly committed the offense of manslaughter.
Chief Trial Attorney Matt Roberts believes Sherry and Mila's twin sister were the only others living at Clover Estate Mobile Home Park at the time of Mila's death. The twins' cognitive impairments contributing to child abuse charges likely being filed in the future, according to Roberts.
With only one adult in the home and only one other person that could have inflicted these injuries, that was part of the investigation and will be part of the investigation moving forward, identifying Ms. Leak as the person responsible.
Leak's attorney told the judge the 55-year-old has no criminal history and has essentially already been convicted in the eye of the public. On Tuesday, she received no sympathy from the family.
That size woman on a child, till she loses consciousness and dies, that's unacceptable.
This is the first time I've had a murder actually in my family. And it is devastating. It is very, very devastating. But I'm just going to put my trust in the Lord and in the court system that everything is going to come out the way it should.
Sherry's bond was set at $100,000 and she's prohibited from any contact with minors. She's due back in court in December. I'm Olivia Yatuma, your Muskegon area.
The chief trial attorney says that MIALAH Leak was murdered on her 11th birthday, and while they're still waiting for the official cause of death from the medical examiner's report, they're already assuming what the cause of death is. It's suffocation, and that's only after hearing what MIALAH Leak's adoptive mother, Sherry Leak, had to say in court today. This is the jail booking photo of 55-year-old Sherry Lee Leak, and behind her is Clover Estates Mobile Home Park. It's where Muskegon Chief Trial Attorney Matt Roberts says she killed her 11-year-old adoptive daughter Mila on her 11th birthday.
As the adoptive mother admitted, and as we mentioned during arraignment, that she sat on the child.
According to this Fruitport Township Police Department press release, the incident happened around 6 Sunday night.
She started doing CPR and had to call 911. And that act, we felt was appropriate at this point to issue the charges that we've issued.
Leak is charged with a felony for manslaughter. She is being held at the Muskegon County Jail on a bond of $100,000. More charges could come as Roberts works with Child Protective Services and the Department of Health and Human Services to see if there have been any prior investigations into Leak.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. As I say, any death is tragic, so we start with that. Any death of a child is just extra tragic, and here there are just additional layers to it as well. And then you factor in as well that you have a twin sister, and it was their birthday.
Roberts says Mila's sister suffers from a string of medical issues and is also nonverbal. She's been placed in a foster home and is being treated in the hospital. Roberts says Leak has been caring for the girls since 2018 after their mother's parental rights were taken away.
One of the initial issues appeared to have been issues related to the other sister having a lot of medical needs and some medical neglect taking place.
The courts are working to find Leak a defense attorney. Roberts says a public defender isn't an option because their office has a conflict of interest from previous cases involving allegations against Mila and her sister's biological mother. The next steps in this case is for investigators and prosecutors to chat with Mila's neighbors and those she went to elementary school with to see if she ever made any complaints about life at home with Sherry Leak. This is a developing story and we'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online at WWMT.com. I'm Princess Johnny Steverson reporting in
Today, we're talking about a tragic story about an 11-year-old that lost her life on her birthday. That 11-year-old, ladies and gentlemen, was MIALAH Leak. Now, this story got the internet pissed off, number one, confused, definitely emotional, and a lot of folks are also arguing about the circumstances that took place.
The Fruitport Township girl who police say was killed Sunday by her adopted mother had turned 11 years old that day.
Today, the woman accused in her death was arraigned on a charge of manslaughter.
She said on my daughter, yes, she said, on her 11th birthday over a disagreement that she said they had.
55-year-old Sherry Leak was arraigned today on a charge of manslaughter in MIALAH's death at the family's mobile home in Fruitport Township.
The information we have is that she was trying to get the child to calm down, that she chose to sit on the child for a period of time, and that during that time period that she was sitting on the child lost consciousness. She attempted CPR, and that's when she called 911.
The biological mom, Jessica Mosley, who asked that we not show her face, says she gave up MIALAH and MIALAH's twin sister for adoption when she was 17.
I was in jail. I went through a lot of stuff. You know, it's just me and my sister.
But she says she had tried to get the girls back.
I never stopped trying, you know. I never stopped trying. I did everything you asked me to do. I back and forth up here. Asked me. I got my house. I got my car. I got my job. Keep telling me no possibility for me to get my kids. You know how hard that is. Every day.
As far as the biological mother goes, I understand her pain and suffering. But at the end of the day, one can argue that this is basically your fault. You directly had a hand in this situation. If you knew you weren't ready or mature enough to have a child, why would you go about the business of having a child? If that child was that important to you, you should have cleaned up your life the minute you saw you was having a child. That should have been your wake-up call. But now you're trying to fight to get your child back, which I'm not going to hold you to that. You have every right to fight to get your child back once you get stuff deported. But the problem is things don't work on your time. And do you not understand how much confusion that can bring into the child's mind? This is just my opinion on it. I believe that's what started the hostility in the household with Sherry and MIALAH. If you aren't going out your way to adopt Black kids, you have zero say in this matter. I don't want to hear from you. And whatever you have to say is irrelevant. See the full video.
All right. Thoughts and opinions. I agree with this man said. I gotta agree. Ma'am, first of all, you didn't show your face on camera. Then you let the world know on the news that you was going through your own issues, been in jail, done this, done that. Now all of a sudden, because at 17, you gave your children up. Now you're gonna fight to get your child back. Because you lost one child due to another grown woman. Let's be honest. Horrible actions. See, parents gotta start doing better. Because if you knew that you was 17 and you wasn't ready to have children, you shouldn't have had children. You should have told the person who was there at the time, son, good idea. I'm young, and we should wait until I get a certain age and older. And a lot of times when you're young, you're not mature. But I think we have to do better when it comes to our children. This case is disturbing. To kill somebody else's child, basically, on the 11th birthday, by saying on them. That means when you adopted the child, both of the children, you ain't really care about the children. You cared about the check that was coming to you. You cared about what was coming to your pockets. You didn't care about the child because you're gonna have killed the child. But again, this falls back on the parents. It falls back on the system. It falls back on CPS. Everybody's to blame for what happened to the child. Because if things were different, this child would be here today. If the mother still had custody of the two children would be here today. CPS had never been notified. There had never been a case. This case would never happen. But we all got to take accountability of the situation. This is devastating. It's devastating. And I hope and pray that the family gets justice. I don't agree with the charge of manslaughter. I think it should have been higher. I think this was premeditated homicide. And Prayers go out to the other sister, the surviving sister, um, who gonna also need, believe it or not, is gonna need not just grieving counseling, but it's gonna need support at this tragedy because ultimately, I think she um, perhaps witnessed this take place, and that is trauma. That is trauma that somebody can have for the rest of their lives. So I hope they have some type of support for that child put in place. To the biological mother, I'm sorry, but you failed as a mother. I'm sorry, let's really be honest. You failed as a mother. You failed as a mother. You failed, and I hope that you get your life turned back around and some way, somehow, one day, get custody of your daughter, because she really do needs to know who her parents really are. The system is brutal. It's not the first time I covered these type of cases where abusive parents, adopted parents, have killed children in custody. But parents got to start raising the children, and the system is already broken. Foster care is broken. Um, CPS is broken, and DCFS is broken. So when you fail to protect children, they end up in this corrupted society and situation. And so we got to do better. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight's live. I'll be live again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll probably go live Christmas night. I got to see how my schedule is Christmas Day, but I might and I might not. I got to see how it is. But if I don't go live December 25th, I will go live the next day, the 26th, and I will drop 2 videos on Save Our Children for the 25th, 26th, on the 26th to make up for not doing a video on the 25th. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys tomorrow on my secondary channel and on my sports channel. I will be posting tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, advocate for our children first. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night. Peace.